very careful when it comes to
Yeah.
the medicine.
Yeah.
Yeah, because some people don't have good intentions, or they just want money,
Yeah.
or they have good intentions, but they don't have the level of experience to kind of hold the container in a good way. I've seen some people leave ceremony and be worse than when they entered.
Oh, wow. That's kind of scary.
Oh, I mean, but it happens. No, it
Yeah.
happens a
I'm sure
lot.
it does. I'm sure it does.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I've never tried it because I'm just like,
Oh, you've never tried it?
No, I've only done San Pedro. I've only done
Oh, okay, okay.
yeah, Washuma. I've only done, and actually an elder I worked with in Tarapoto in the jungle in the north. She's an incredible. Actually, you might have met her because I met her at the same time. Doris, do you remember Doris?
Doris, no, no, I didn't meet her.
Okay, because she's a coca leaf reader and she does
Huh?
Washuma.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, ayahuasca is intense, but it's something that when you feel safe with somebody, it's good to try.
Yeah.
But to really question, like, does this feel safe first? Does this feel like it's going to hold me? And
Yeah.
also know that the work really begins after the ceremony, because when we enter into these different states of consciousness, we're shown a lot of things. Sometimes we're shown things about other realms, but we're always shown things about our own inner reality and where
Mm.
we may be holding on to something. And a
Mm.
lot of times people don't realize that they're holding on to something from the past and it's affecting them in the present. And then the medicine shows that to them. And if you haven't created the space in your life to look at that, it can be very challenging. So I don't really like the kind of attitude that's really common now, in that people think that doing this or that ceremony heals me or is going to
Right.
be what heals me. Because if you're not doing your own work and you work with this powerful teacher, you're not going to like what you're going to be shown.
Mm. Yeah.
Mm.
That's
And
really
it can
great.
be very destabilizing.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yes,
That's
it's true.
really well put and very succinctly summarized. Thank you, actually. I hadn't really thought of it that way, but that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, but they are master teachers, and I would speak more in a way that we're still kind of fighting for our human rights to be able to connect with the plant realm in the way that nature intended. It's
Mm-hmm.
absurd for there to be an illegal plant.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a topic that I feel passionate about, but don't speak as much as I would want to about online, just out of um, the fact that it is like an ongoing, essentially human rights issue across the whole world, that we have the right to decide what is right for our body, and we have the right to acknowledge what the indigenous people have known all around the world, that the medicine comes from nature, and it's both medicine for the body and medicine for the mind and soul. So that's a fun way to
Mm.
start the live stream today. But we are live now. And we're going to talk about way more things than the plant realm. I am channeling the Pleiadian Council, as we do every week. Welcome if you are new. Most of you probably aren't new, so you know how it works and you know the basics, like keeping yourself muted when you are not speaking, and that we prioritize questions that are spoken aloud with audio or with video as well. Video is encouraged, but we understand if you don't want to show your face on the internet to the world, on the YouTube channel. But if you do, it's very appreciated. And so we can ask mm, 5 minutes or so of questions in the first round. And if there's time and space, once all the questions have been asked, we can go a little bit deeper with more questions later in the session. And to welcome Amanda, welcome everybody. We've got a lot of people here in the Zoom room. So I think, did I post on YouTube? I posted the link on YouTube, and I want to give a brief tour. Oh, no, it's happening. I want to briefly show the
You did
website.
post oh, sorry. You did post
Oh
on
yeah,
YouTube. Okay.
yeah, cool. I saw. So this is the website dantestarshine.com, and here you can sign up for the mailing list. And the mailing list gives you an update as to when these live streams happen. It's generally same day of the week, Wednesdays at this 1 p.m. time, but I move around every couple of months or sometimes more often than that to new places, and I adjust my schedule accordingly. So sometimes it changes, and sometimes also we make it at a different time zone so that people who in different parts of the world can also attend. There's also this page, Contact Book a Session. Here's how you can get in touch with me. Here's how you can donate for these free sessions that I share every week. It's a really big support to me and helping me to continue to do this freely. Then if you go to Calendly, which you see there, that's how you can easily book a session, and it's automated, choosing a time that fits my schedule and your schedule. Here we also see the information about the channeling course and also the channeled book that I have written or channeled rather and edited, and you can find it on the Amazon website. Um, and it's a really in-depth book that if you're curious about what is shared in these sessions, it goes really deep into all of these subjects and allows for a more nuanced perspective to take place. And on the subject of books, I can share what's very exciting today is that I've actually written two books in the past 6 weeks. When I do things, I like to go all in, focus just on that. And after writing the first one, I liked it, but I wasn't satisfied. It wasn't what I wanted to introduce to the world immediately, but it has some important things as well. So the second book that I wrote is about the process of awakening and healing from a more human perspective, as I'm often channeling about that, and the Pleiadian Council can offer a lot, but it is coming from the human perspective of someone who's been through that journey, and what I can suggest in many areas of life. It's a lot of different subjects and how they interconnect, connecting with personal healing as a sort of collective healing, that we come to understand ourselves as part of a bigger unfolding of the evolution of human consciousness. And we see ourselves as an interconnected part of this universe that is built of the energy of love. And as we awaken that love within us, it supports us in going into the deeper and darker places within our psyche that are the result of experiences that we've had in this world that offers us a lot of contrast. And this is part of the process of how we awaken, and we come to experience that sort of non-dual, beyond good and bad, unconditionally loving state of source. And there's way more in it, and I'm excited for that to reach you. So stay tuned for that. And thanks again for being here. Thanks for supporting these sessions. Really encourage donations if that's possible for you. And if not, remember that a like, a share, and comments to engage with this really boost it in the algorithm. And of course, the organic word of mouth, letting people in your life who resonate with channeling and multidimensional understandings and energy healing and all of this, let them know that this is happening and they can join and be a part of this growing community and be a part of their own awakening process by learning to connect with channel guides themselves. Okay, a lot of words for me. Why don't we begin? And I'll see you on the other side. Oh, oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Um, Somebody wrote some questions. A regular friend and client submitted some questions, and they would like us to read them. So where do I send this? That's right. I need to send it on the phone and not on the computer. Sorry for the delay, everyone. I should have anticipated this. Hello, and we say a fantastic day to you at this moment of your time. We are the Pleiadian Council, and we speak on behalf of the Galactic Alliance, supporting our planet in this process of growth and ascension. It is a gift, it is a blessing, and an honor to establish contact with you in this way, and we thank you for allowing these transmissions to take place, as it allows for both you and ourselves to grow and deepen in our connection with Source. So today, we would like to speak on this subject, titling this transmission, Perpetrator Consciousness and Victim Consciousness. Exploring the beliefs and the behaviors that are involved in the process of enacting violent or harmful things in your world, and how you can break that cycle. Many of you in healing movements start to consider the idea of victim consciousness. This is composed of beliefs that bring individuals to insist upon the fact that they themselves are victims, they are incapable, and that other people or the world itself is oppressing or holding them back in some way. Unfortunately, there are many who operate from a distorted lens of wanting to project that many people who are in fact victims are just making it up. And this perpetrator consciousness, it is the denial of the fact that in this world there are many violations of individuals' free will that are acts of harm, acts of violence, and that to truly have a holistic understanding is to acknowledge this and bring about a correction and bring about an improvement for those who have been wrong. It is, however, true sometimes that once these acts have caused harm onto individuals, that they live as if the acts never stop, and they continue to distort situations to make themselves into victims when that is not the reality of what is taking place around them. In order to help people heal from this sort of a victim complex, it is first most important to understand that a victim complex does not originate from nowhere. It is there because at one point this individual was once victimized, and it turns into a victim complex when the trauma from that victimization is not given the space to heal, is not given the space to be nurtured and cared for in a way that they are able to let go of the pain that that caused and come to remember that they are innately powerful, and they are capable of making choices, and they are capable of making positive changes in their lives. This is a deep process that involves facing all of your past and facing especially what happened in childhood, in experiences in which others, especially adults, violated your free will and demanded that you conform. You rather, as a culture, don't fully understand that all violations of free will are acts of certain degrees of violence. And by honoring the free will in others, including your children, and giving them the space to be exactly as they are, you encourage them to tap into that source energy that is unconditional love. You encourage them to be true to who they are and discover their own unique purpose, which is the essential reason that all of you have come to incarnate in the first place. Perpetrator consciousness is a bit more complex to understand. And you may ask this question, what came first, the chicken or the egg? And we say, in this case, it is clear. The perpetrator always came first. The one who initially enacted the violence acted first, struck first. And the perpetrator operates from a belief system that is egocentric and places themselves at a higher position in an hierarchy of deserving and worth than all victims. This is a necessary first step to be able to enact harm or violence. The perpetrator has to believe that they are more worthy, more valuable, and more deserving of whatever that they steal from others. And this is why, in order for things like colonization to happen in your world, there first had to be deep components of racism that made it believable and even common knowledge that certain races were superior to other races. And this superiority complex that is part of the perpetrator consciousness creates a disconnection from the perpetrator and the victim. And this disconnection blocks the flow of empathy and compassion. There cannot be any empathy in order for violence to be enacted. And so the perpetrator steps into a mode of consciousness that is egocentric and is narcissistic. It blocks all connection to others so that the pain that others feel cannot be felt at all by the perpetrator. And in order for this to continue, the perpetrator has to add even more layers of belief around it. It has to go so far as to start to mimic the response of the victim. And instead of acknowledging what is actually taking place, the perpetrator must start to believe that they themselves are the victim. And you see this play out very much in psychology. This is often called a tactic of Darvo. That is, deny, attack, reverse, victim, and offender. This tactic allows for those who step into this violent act to claim that they are the ones being violated. And it is very difficult to negotiate with these beings because they often believe what they are saying at a certain level. If they don't believe it, they are working towards believing it. They are attempting to direct their minds in a way so that they can believe it further. And as the progress continues, eventually they might even come to believe the lies that they have to construct to continue doing what they are doing. This is a complex struggle, and it is actually only when the victim finds community who supports them and enough pressure is placed on the perpetrator to end the cycle that the whole dance comes to an end. And this is why it is very important that community exists and community is open to the idea of beings being called out or called in to accountability. it is important that you understand that the consciousness of the perpetrator is built upon lies, and it can do nothing other than lie to move forward. And these lies can often seem real and true because the perpetrator themselves has to do a complex weaving within their own consciousness to attempt to believe the lies that they communicate. Those who are victimized must come to understand that there is no victory against the perpetrator through truth and through independent struggle. It has to be an interconnected movement towards accountability. There has to be a greater pressure from something bigger than the perpetrator to wake up to what they are doing. And if that doesn't happen, the dance will continue to play out. Source allows for this dance to play out in the physical realm as it is an evolutionary curve towards integrating the blessing of free will that is your gift in incarnating into the physical dimension. You have the choice as to which polarity of energy you explore. Do you explore positive energy that connects you with source and connects you with the whole, connects you with all of the beings in your world in a co-creative way? Do you choose negative energy that separates you from others, that separates you from the source, and instead builds up an independent I sense or ego that is somehow superior or godlike? This creates a sense of power. Yet, what many people don't understand about the negative beings in your world, like the elite and like all of the sorts of perpetrators, is that this whole game that they play is in order to compensate for a very deep sense of fear that they have. They feel this fear through the craving that leads to the impulses that continues their violent acts. But they are unable to connect with their fear because they, in a sense, corrode their own emotional intelligence and their own connection with their hearts. They come to live only through the logic of the brain that orients themselves to continue to pursue power and power at all costs. And understanding this is very important for you in your world to break the taboo around the idea of victim consciousness itself, as it is seen as so wrong by your cultures, because if more people accepted victim consciousness, there would be far more people putting pressure on the perpetrators. And the elite are the greatest perpetrators. And the elite have control of the media and the entertainment industries and all of the other industries that imbue your consciousness with the common messages that you start to take for granted and believe to be reality. And this is why all of these realms want you to dislike the victims and dislike people who act victimized, supposedly. The truth of the matter is that most people in your world, to some degree, have been victimized by the system, have been oppressed by the system. But instead, they divide you in so many different ways, and they impress upon you the importance of the idea of individualism so that you focus only on your own ways of being oppressed, and you don't understand the commonality, the link between you and all of the other beings who were also oppressed. And you don't come together as a bigger group to put pressure on the greatest oppressors. And this is part of the reason why things stay stagnant in your world. And this is why our encouragement to you is to not focus on your own bubble of reality, but is to expand into an interconnected sense of the co-creation of reality that you are participating in with all other beings in your world. And remember that this isn't just a co-creation with those beings. It is a co-creation with many other realms of consciousness where beings like ourselves and other ascended spirits supporting your world are available to you and are willing to support you should you reach out to us and should you continue to follow your passion so that you raise your frequency so that you might be able to experience those interactions. Because remember, if you don't already feel that baseline frequency of love, joy, passion, and excitement, it is not easy to establish contact with beings like ourselves who fully and completely live those same frequencies. Remember, we are supporting your world, and also remember that this dance of the victim and perpetrator has played out on many other planets as well, notably in the parts of the world, or parts of the galaxy rather, known as Lyra, Vega, and Orion. There has been an extreme polarity, and beings have been deeply hurt, and even entire planets have been enslaved. So while we don't want to overshadow the experience that is taking place in your world, we want to remind you that while we in the Galactic Alliance are beings of love and light that support you, there are other experiences of suffering. And there is a soul level connection between your planet and many of these other planets where this immense suffering has taken place. If you ever feel discouraged, call upon guides from these other times and spaces who have overcome and have learned to connect with the power of source and unconditional love to be supported in their own movement towards liberation. We thank you very much for allowing us to share this message with you at this moment of your time, and we now ask, how can we be of support to you with your questions, comments, musings, and inquiries, beginning whenever you'd like.
Hello, Pleiadian Council.
Hello.
Hello, thank you again for this transmission. I'm very grateful for these transmissions. I have a question.
Yes.
Thank you. I have a question in relation actually to something you spoke about last week and mutual excitement. I've thought a lot about this as it resonates with me quite a bit. And I'm curious, I've been contemplating the NGO group that I've been working with quite a bit since I moved here. And I'm conflicted at the moment because I very much believe in the mission of the group. However, it's evolved such that I feel that the people leading the group, I don't resonate with them as much as I used to, as I'm beginning to work with them, somewhat related to today's message. I don't feel victimized, but I feel that I'm being a little bit squeezed out of the leadership in my leadership role. And I'm curious if you have any insights about how I might be able to navigate this, or if I should move on and not be involved in this group anymore, if that makes sense.
What calls to you most in your heart? Would you like to this project and would it feel better to open it?
Oh, I'm sorry, you're breaking out. I'm not able to hear what you're saying. It's frozen.
All right. Can you hear us now?
Yes,
It's
the
not good.
yeah, the transmission's a little spotty. It's a little, it stops and goes. It's a little broken.
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Is it working?
It's a little better, but the video is quite pixelated and freezes.
Oh, okay. We'll go without the video for a short time, okay? Yeah, it's Mercury retrograde beginning
Oh,
today,
that's
so
right.
I'm not surprised. Yeah, I'm not surprised. It's Mexico internet meets Mercury retrograde.
Okay.
Was the first part of the transmission glitchy too?
It for me it wasn't as glitchy as soon as
Okay.
the question started, it got glitchy.
It'll get better. All right. So we asked you, what do you prefer? What excites you more? To continue to see how you can co-create with this group or to begin a new journey in your own life?
That's a great question because that's the impasse I'm at right now because I in concept I believe in the mission of the organization, but in practice I find myself just reading my body. It feels not I don't feel aligned with them. It feels almost like some difficult times I've had in past career jobs. And I know that feeling in my body. It's a familiar, not very comfortable feeling in my body. And so that I'm taking a
Well, when a feeling feels familiar, what
Mhm.
you have to do is ask yourself if this feeling is the story from the past being recreated by my mind in the moment,
Mm.
or is this my intuition making a connection? It
Ah,
sometimes can be a little bit of both,
yes.
though if you recognize this feeling from the past, the important thing to do is to go back to the moments when you experienced it before with others
Mm.
and do
Mm.
some healing work there. View yourself as you are today, going back in time and connecting with the past version of yourself as if it is another person, because your past selves are different versions of you. You can
Mhm.
connect with them and converse with them, otherify them in this way so that you can see them, not make them different from you. We mean see them as something external to you so that you can interact with them. Yes.
Mhm.
And do this so that you can engage with them and let this past version of you voice their pain, express their pain, and find a solution with them to what is unresolved from the past. It may very well be that you're being invited to resolve your past and ways in which you allowed yourself to stay in a state of powerlessness.
Yes.
And if you resolve the pain from the past, you might find that you have a different way of showing up and engaging with these people and this new group at this time. If,
Yes.
however, you do this work and you still feel discontent in this group, that's a sign that you've learned what you need to learn and it may be time to move on to something new.
Mm. Oh, thank you for articulating that because I was struggling to on how to proceed with some of that work. So thank you so very much for that, those insights.
Yes.
Um, thank you. I have another question, but I'll wait till till everyone has had a chance. Thank you so
All
much,
right.
Ians.
Yes, thanks to you as well. Somebody new?
Hi, Pleiadian Council.
Hello, welcome.
How are you?
We are fantastic, and you?
Pretty good. Enjoying the sunshine. Just curious question. What happens when you cuss? It's used a lot in our language.
What happens when you what?
Cuss, say a bad word like
Oh,
A word or S word. Like we use it really casually, like even if it doesn't have a negative intention, in
yes.
our human lives. Just curious.
Well, words are not that powerful on their own. It is the intention behind the words. So, how do you feel when you say these words? Sometimes you say these curse words or these bad words as a way to release pent up steam and energy, as a way to properly articulate your emotions to an extent. And when you say them with that intention, it is relieving. Other times you say these words so as to cast your own negative emotions onto others or to make others feel bad. And this is not a useful way of using these words. It is harmful to you and it is harmful to others. But it does not make the words themselves wrong, bad, or inherently negative. So if you say these words for relief, because it is funny to you, or because it is satisfying to you, then say them as much as you want. If you are saying these words to cause harm to others, or you are saying these words when other people have already said they don't want to hear them, then this is a negative use of energy that will have negative effects in your life. Yes.
I see. So like if you say it casually and someone takes it personally, then it's inflicting harm in a way.
Yes, if they don't like it, then it's causing some level of harm, but all you have to do in that case is apologize. But if you don't apologize and you say, well, this is my favorite word, I'm going to say it as much as I want to say it, then that isn't very nice. And that can cause a rupture in your relationship and make the other person feel very bad. And when you make others feel bad intentionally, there's always a turnaround at which you start to experience the same halls you are harming at you are causing rather at some point in your own timeline.
Because some words are uttered or some thoughts or concepts are uttered and people take it personal and you're not aware of it. They don't bring it to your attention. You know what I mean? And it could be harmful within the group of certain
If they don't
people,
bring
but
it to your attention, that isn't your fault. If,
oh, okay.
yes,
Interesting.
if they don't bring it to your attention, it certainly isn't your fault. But many people assume telepathy, and this is a great misstep. It is a good intention to work towards telepathy, yet the way that you generate telepathy is through transparency. And when you get to a place in which all humans simply speak what they are feeling in the moment, and other humans get used to being able to read people by connecting what people say with what people feel and the energy that exudes from people, then you will start to become more telepathic. But you can't be telepathic and not be transparent as beings at the same time. Now you hide far too much from each other, and you also don't want to express certain feelings. And so many of you will assume that other people know how they are making you feel. And this is the worst fallacy, because no one can know exactly everything you're feeling until you express it. And so if you find yourself engaging with
Right.
people who don't express how they're feeling, and you made them feel a certain way, it only starts to become within the realm of your responsibility when it comes into your awareness that you have been making them feel a certain way. That's when your responsibility begins.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. One more curious question. How was the word God generated? Was from a vibration sound?
The word,
Yeah, like the spelling of it, the word God. How did we come up with the word God?
we don't believe we have the exact context to give the most precise answer to this question, so we won't answer it. But we will say that you conceived initially of God as a concept through mystical experiences. Humans experienced a sense that there was an intelligence and a presence that was beyond them and was unconditionally loving and extremely powerful. And this experience led to the creation of the concept. But from that experience and concept, it got very murky along the way.
Okay, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Oh, thanks to you as well.
Hello, Pleiadians.
Hello. Yes.
It's just again very, very nice to talk to you. Thank you for that.
Oh,
I have a question. Do I know my son from before? Because I feel that his personality is sometimes very, very strong towards me.
You share many different lifetimes together.
Should I be also strong
Many
towards him?
past and future lifetimes. What was that?
No, I just want to hear you. I have to learn my lesson. What?
Learn what lesson?
You were saying something. I had a lesson with him.
Yes, many lessons, as you have shared many past and future lifetimes together on this planet and on other planets.
Okay, okay, now I understand. Okay, that's it.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Unconditional love to you.
Oh, all right. Thanks to you. Our unconditional love to you as well.
Hello, Pleiadian Council.
Hello, welcome. Yes.
First of all, I would like to ask, how do you see energies behind the conflict in Ukraine, how it will evolve in the near future?
There may be an increased attack on Ukraine in the times to come, as the world is a bit distracted with other things. It may come suddenly, though there is to be eventually a truce, though the truce may not be as favorable for Ukraine as it is for Russia.
It means some hidden truth will come out?
No, a truce means an end of the conflict, but it very, very may will come with the annexation of Crimea back to Russia.
Okay. Another topic. What's your definition of apology?
Apology is an expression of understanding one's own mistakes, one's own negative actions and their consequences. Apology is the ability to say, I have done wrong and I will not do it again. And I am sorry for the pain that I've caused you. So you need to apologize whenever you intentionally or unintentionally cause harm to others. And it's this apology that is to be a way of creating connection and reestablishing the natural order of how energy flows. Because in this realm, everything is interconnected.
So it's some sort of a, approach to make other person feel better, right? Or help other
It
person
may or may
feel
not
better.
make them feel better. It may or may not make them feel better. It is about acknowledging and understanding your own actions and the negative intent or negative effect that they have. So an apology is about you and what you have done as the one making the apology. The other person may or may not accept the apology. And to an extent, that has to deal with how sincere the apology is and how true the apology feels. And it also has to deal with whether or not the apology warrants a sufficient enough change in the individual making the apology that the other person can trust again.
And does it make sense to also apologize to myself or my body?
Yes, if that feels right for you, then it is a positive thing to do because you all cause harm to bodies at certain points in your journey. Though when you apologize to your body, you have to make sure that you don't create an other relationship with your body because that is not helping you. Remember that you are your body. Remember that you are your mind. And you are all the components of your body and your mind. So when you apologize to your body, you are apologizing to yourself. And you are, in a sense, then asking for your own forgiveness. And you can and ought to forgive yourself for the mistakes that you've made. But you also need to honor the mistakes that you've made so that you don't make them again.
Thank you. That makes sense. Okay, another
Yes.
topic I would like to ask is what's the future of dental care?
Dental care.
Yes.
Oh. The future is also in dentistry and other industries being less driven by their own profit and more motivated towards providing health to clients. And therefore, dentistry will also involve deeper education on how to care for teeth by eating the right diets. As no matter what you do for your teeth, if you are not eating well, your teeth will suffer. Dentistry will also bring in different plant-based approaches that offer the teeth greater rejuvenation and offer the gums greater ability to heal. In the future, root canals will not be performed and surgical implants will be the go-to, as when dead and decaying matter is left in the mouth, it causes disturbances throughout the entire body. And this practice, which is also far too expensive, will also be brought to an end.
Mhm. And maybe it has to be, or should be, the first question. Why does the teeth deteriorate? Why does they have cavities and so on?
Because things mostly like sugars and carbs, when left on the teeth, attract a plaque and mucus that corrodes the teeth. And so you need to be very careful about your intake of sugars and your tendency to leave them on the teeth. This also comes from a diet that is very much depleted of levels of fiber, as fibrous foods also have a certain degree of natural cleansing properties that break down these walls of plaque as you eat. You can note this as you eat an apple, for example, your teeth still feel somewhat clean afterwards. But humans, many of you have stopped eating many of these high fiber foods.
So what food is the most benefit for the teeth?
High fiber foods.
Any special substance that may help to strengthen the teeth?
Cloves, cardamom, cinnamon. There are a wide range of natural herbs in different traditional medicine systems that aid the teeth very powerfully as well beyond these.
Mm-hmm. And what would you suggest as a natural dental care solution, or toothpaste, or how to take care of?
We would suggest to use an Ayurvedic toothpaste if possible. Use an Ayurvedic toothpaste if possible, yes. And also note that these more natural toothpastes can be left on your mouth afterwards. There's no need to rinse your mouth excessively or at all after you use these natural toothpastes, as the residue stays on your teeth and continues to protect them over time. And we would suggest not just brushing twice a day, but brushing after every meal.
And what may be the mental reason for the deteriorating of the tooth?
It's the same reason that causes somebody to eat unhealthy things. It is filling the void or combating fears and anxieties with the stimulation of eating junk foods that causes the deterioration of the teeth. So whatever is irking you and causing you to have these cravings, that is the same thing that's leading to the teeth deteriorating.
And does body have some capabilities to reconstruct the teeth somehow?
No. Your teeth are the only teeth you've got.
Oh, I'm
Your
just thinking about.
gums can regenerate themselves to an extent. Your teeth cannot.
Okay, thank you very much.
And that is why you sometimes connect your teeth with your mortality. Every other part of your body has a greater capacity to regenerate itself, but your teeth do not. So sometimes the dreams in which you are losing your teeth are subtle reminders from your subconscious that you're processing the reality of death.
Yes, but as we are living longer and longer, the using of implants will be inevitable, right?
Yes. Though it's also possible to take such good care of your teeth and eat so well that you never have to get an implant.
Yes, not in all cases. It has been possible in my case.
All right.
Okay, thank you very much.
Well, there's so many things you can do, and you still have the full capability of being absolutely and totally healthy.
Yes, but I would like to be healthy without some implants.
Well,
Yes.
then we don't know what to say. But an implant is going to serve your health more than a root canal will. That is, we can say absolutely and certainly.
Okay, good. Thank you very much.
Thanks to you as well. All right, somebody else has a question for us at this time?
I've already asked a question, but is it okay if I have another question?
Yeah. Oh, yes, most certainly it is.
Thank you. And in fact, it's ironic that the last person, it has to do with a similar thing about dental care. And it's back to the care of gums and gum recession. I've had a history of gum recession, and I'm curious if you have any insights for me on how to help that in a preventative way, be it diet, lifestyle, anything like that. Thank you.
The most important thing is to not brush as intensely or use a softer brush, as this is perhaps the biggest cause of gum recession. And the next step would be to do a process of oil pulling as regularly as you feel inspired. After you brush your teeth, to use ideally a sort of Ayurvedic oil to rinse your mouth. And these oils and the herbs they contain also have anti-inflammatory properties that soothe the gums and allow them to have more regenerative power.
Okay. Any direction on what kind of oils? I can research it, but any direction for me?
Consult Ayurveda, as there are certain formulas that are already directly prescribed.
Okay.
Ayurvedic oil pulling will be a great place to start.
Okay.
And we can also suggest to chew on certain herbs after eating. This can include cardamom and fennel. This also adds some greater anti-inflammatory power within the mouth.
Okay. Thank you so very much.
Thanks to you as well.
Actually, one more question. With regards to, you mentioned the root canal versus surgical implants. Is it suggested to replace a root canal with a surgical implant if I already have a root canal?
If it if it starts to bother you at some point, then it would be advisable. The root canal can sometimes continue to decay, and that decay can lead to a sudden pain in the mouth, and it can affect the associated meridian as well. So you may want to note which tooth it is and see which meridian it connects with. If you notice that you have pain or troubles associated with the connected organs, that could also be a sign that maybe you would like to take that path.
Okay. To that, do you suggest facial acupuncture for that or skincare?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Acupuncture is very powerful in its scope. Oh, we appreciate you as well.
Thank you so much.
May I ask another question?
Yes.
With, planting seeds, how does it know to germinate? How does it know to grow? Is it the blueprint?
It's a blueprint in the DNA of the cells within the seed.
And the blueprint, it's intelligence, it's consciousness within each seed.
Yes. It's within the genetic code just as much as animals contain genetic codes that teach them to do things instinctively. So that the moment a baby turtle from the ocean hatches, it knows instinctively to walk towards the ocean. And it figures things out from that moment, even without somebody caring for it. Having no connection to its mother, the genetic code instructs the turtle how to live and how to fight to survive in the very delicate and dangerous world of the ocean.
It's the consciousness instructions that
Within
it comes
the DNA.
within the DNA.
Yes.
And then its blueprint contains its like termination, right? Like knowing when it's gonna decay.
Well, this is not as much informed by the DNA. To an extent, yes, it is informed by the DNA, the natural life cycle, but the exact moment of death is determined by the soul level. But yes, the fact that the body starts to get old, deteriorate at a certain time is also contained within the DNA. The life cycle is contained within the DNA.
Thank you.
Yes. And you can note about DNA as well that it changes much more quickly than you think in terms of great changes in the human consciousness and human body over a long course of evolution. You inherit patterns from your parents, so much so that many of their behaviors and thought forms change their genes, which you inherit from them.
Would you say thought forms are like DNA patterns? I mean, like thought behavior patterns are DNA. And when you undo it, you change your DNA.
They affect the DNA. Oh, yes, absolutely.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, thanks. You as well.
Hi, Pleiadians.
Hello, welcome.
Hi, I would love your feedback on something. I'm beginning to become very excited about working on some new and bigger projects in my life. And for me, it seems like a natural thing that I have to develop or even change or upgrade parts of my personality. So I'm curious to what your read is on what is our opportunities or what's the limits in terms of how fast we can change, and any how-tos or suggestions for going on a journey like that.
Well, you do remember that it's been said that every slight change of your being is a total change of your being, because you become a new person every time that you let go of an old belief or develop a new one. Yes?
Yeah.
So if that is reality, then you can change as quickly as you would like to change.
Yeah, that's
This is
true.
why we've often spoken about this slingshot analogy, that the further you pull yourself back into the darkness, the faster you propel yourself forward into the light on the energetic slingshot. And this is also what some people refer to as a sort of rock bottom moment, in which the only option from that moment forward is to change. And because the soul sees that as the only option, then they change rather quickly. And so if you can invite yourself to notice and remember how powerful change can be, you can move through that change more quickly. And it helps when you let go of your identification with who you have been before. All of those past versions of you have led you to this moment in which you decide to become a different person, a new you.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I've worked on previously, both on myself and also with clients, is like you said, making it into a conscious decision. And one of the ways has been to look at past big decisions and sort of step into that energy and elicit some of what was going through
Yes.
people's minds. They made that decision. Is that something you can comment on or expand upon?
There's benefit in that there's limit to this, because it is helpful to remind yourself that these big and vast changes have taken place and can take place, though you still have to greet this moment as a completely new moment that has never been experienced before. And you have to become curious as to who you are choosing to become, rather than focusing on what is known. So the change and transformation happens in a much more powerful way when you focus more on the mystery of becoming rather than the known of become it, if you get our point.
Yeah, that feels really powerful. So would it be correct to say that you focus on the excitement of who I need to become and who I'm going to become in order to achieve these things and in order to become more like a me?
Yes. The
Okay,
key
cool.
is decide who you're going to decide to be, because going to, in and of itself, is not as focused on your own power of choice. Decide to become allows you to own your full power of choice. That allows you to make the biggest potential leap from one version of yourself to a new version of yourself, from one reality into a new reality.
Got it. Thank you so much.
Oh, thanks to you as well. somebody else has something they would like to share at this time? If not, we could invite somebody to read the questions that may have been submitted to Zoom into the YouTube, if that is your preference.
I can read the questions for you.
Oh, thank you very much.
Sure, thank you. First question, can you speak about the year ahead 2024 and the main surprises or features we might want to know about?
Oh, you will have a very full transmission on this subject as we approach the turning of your year. Though for now, we will say that the year of 2024 is a year of collective service. It is a year that humanity stops waiting for change to come and starts realizing that together you are the change. And this will take the form of many sorts of global comings together and new ways that humanity states its intention to be more unified and have more of a say and dismantle the elite control. This will be something that you see in some parts of your world. And there will also be different experiences of deceptive leadership that leads to this being inspired. There will be some big announcements in the realm of tech, and you will see that AI makes more quantum leaps. We want you to pay attention to the unfolding of AI over the next decade, because it will shape your world in many different ways. And eventually this is leading to the demonstration of true intelligence displayed by a machine, which will lead you to make bigger conclusions about consciousness and open you to the reality of open contact. Things are heading in this direction, and there is nonetheless a lot of work to go on the grounds that will be happening in increasingly exponential ways. There is a great importance that at this time, all of you come to question what is real and what is true, as there are many ways in which the truth and the reality are being obscured from your vision. And discovering what is real and what is true for you in a subjective sense and for your world in an objective sense are both necessary to make it through these windows of change.
Okay, thank you for those insights.
Yes.
There's another question. Currently, remote viewing uses protocols devised by the US military for espionage, and it cannot be done at will without these procedures. What is the underlying process, and in future, how will this kind of ability be used and by which people?
Oh, we don't ascribe to the assumptions of this particular question. There are many ways to practice remote viewing that don't require these mentioned protocols. And remote viewing is possible in a consciousness that is trained to go beyond the limitations of the body. When a human can project their consciousness to a certain level of reality, the consciousness can be disconnected from the body and be free to roam around the world. This is possible in dream states, and practicing the art of lucid dreaming is almost a prerequisite to become very powerfully connected with the idea of remote viewing. Remote viewing is subject to a great deal of distortion, and one is likely to be years into the development of this gift by the time that they will be very accurate in terms of what they can actually read through this gift. Yet it is true that the governments of the world believe far more in psychic and intuitive abilities than the mainstream wants to lead on, and that countries like the US and Russia and even China and many others use this practice of remote viewing and other sorts of skills of divination and psychic ability to make some of their decisions. Russia is perhaps more open than other nations in their use of these things. However, many different countries do employ psychics and intuitives for different purposes. And they have ways of training them so that they cannot disobey from certain protocols. There is a certain inborn gift towards some of the more advanced psychic functions like remote viewing. Anyone can make progress in their development of psychic gifts, and some are having an inborn gift that allows them to excel in some of these areas. All right. We're not sure what's happening. Somebody would like to ask another question or read other questions.
Yes, there are some more questions. Sorry for my background noise.
That's all right.
Next question. Several psychics and remote viewers now say that the man we know as Jesus did not die on the cross, but this is central to the Christian religion. What do you say?
We do say that the story and unfolding of the Bible did take place. Not all of the stories of the entire Old Testament. We do mean the life of the historical Jesus did take place, and the supernatural powers were real. And it is also not exactly what the books and the stories of man have told since that time. We do not wish to speak to these specifics because part of the mystery of both past and future is part of what allows it to inspire the energy of awe and wonder in you. And this is part of what leads you to experience your own connection with Source in the unknowing. And this is why faith need not be blind, but faith is important to cultivate on your own spiritual path. That the spirit of this figure, Jesus Christ, is a powerful energy that points you towards the source, as does the energy of other beings like Buddha, like Shiva, and many others.
Thank you for that answer. Are
Yes.
you able to take a few more questions in the chat?
Yes, we are.
Okay. Says next question. During the day, is there a time to replenish energy and not feel sleepy, even if I eat for study? Is there some substitute that makes me feel full and not sleepy? Are there healthy wakefulness substitutes that are similar effects to coffee for study?
Oh, yes. One moment. We thought the channel was going to sneeze, but the channel didn't sneeze. Anyway, if food is making you tired, it means that you are not digesting it well. This could be for a couple of reasons, and we would suggest you entertain all of them. One reason the food is not digesting is because you're eating too much. You need to leave a sense of emptiness in your stomach for the food to digest properly. If you fill your stomach up too much, then you will become tired because your body will expend all of its energy in the digestion process. Now, another reason you might not be digesting food well is because you are holding on to toxins in your body that are in your digestive system, and your gut does not have the proper bacteria to support digestion. And this needs to be addressed by participating in a sort of detox and cleansing your body of toxins and eating very healthy and life-giving food for a period of time. Also, balancing the gut flora contributes to better digestion as well. And this is to be done by taking supplements that have antibacterial properties and by taking probiotics that support the development of good bacteria in the gut. In terms of substances that are coffee-like, there are many. We suggest exploring some potentials, including green or black tea, cacao, yerba mate, and guayusa. All of these plants have some degree of caffeine or theobromine that supports a degree of focus, and yet they are not as acidic as coffee is, and so they are not disrupting your gut flora in the same way that coffee is. And they are not adding too much heat and stress into the body as coffee is either. They still can cause a degree of dependency upon the caffeine within them. This dependency is not a total detriment to your health, though it is not pleasant when you don't have them, we understand. Actually, the caffeine from these foods can help your brain focus and go into higher states of cognition. There is, of course, a great benefit in not using them at all, though those of you who are very active with your minds and doing intellectual, creative pursuits much of the time will find that this caffeine is often very helpful for you in staying balanced, and it does get integrated in the body that in a way that doesn't force you to crash when you derive it from sources other than coffee.
Beautiful insights. Thank you.
Yes.
There are a few questions in the YouTube. Would you be able to take those questions?
Oh, yes, we can do that. Yes.
Okay. While lying down in meditation, I fall asleep easily. Are there ways to continue meditation without sleeping while lying down?
This would be a great time to practice something like yoga nidra or guided meditation that is specifically designed for this lying down posture. Yoga nidra is the deliberate relaxation of the body that brings you sleep-like rest while remaining conscious. The initial phases of practicing this or something like it may involve many times of accidentally falling asleep. So you have to get used to those moments and also celebrate the fact that your body is resting. And knowing that there are many people who have trouble falling asleep or resting and getting enough rest to begin with. Rest is something that your body needs. So if you're sleeping at all, that's actually a good sign. And gradually, by doing these practices again and again, you will be able to enter into that deep relaxation without losing consciousness and falling asleep. Though it is important to listen to something, and there are many guided meditations that will keep your mind engaged. And after learning how to stay awake while listening to the guiding voice of these meditations, you can then start to practice guiding yourself into those deep states of rest without the guided audio.
Thank you. There's a further question to that from the same person about meditation. I hear the metal scraping sound and feel the energetic cooling of my heart chakra. What do they mean and how do they help me?
We're not sure we completely understand. So we will not answer this question because it is unclear to us.
Yes, okay. Thank you for that. Next question from Elizabeth. There is some discord in my relationship with my partner and I don't know why. I would love your insights on this.
There is something that one of you is not expressing to the other, and this is causing a sort of tension that can be felt but not understood. So ask yourself, first of all, is there something that I am not saying that I ought to be expressing? And if it is not you, then it is the other person. They are not expressing something that they ought to be expressing. So by relaxing, first of all, into your own unknowing of what that might be, you'll create a space in which that can be expressed. A reason it might not be being expressed by the other is because they know it will upset you. So instead, the tension is arising in the first place. So practice accepting whatever this unknown variable might be ahead of time. Let yourself be prepared for something surprising and acknowledging the transitory nature of experiences. And then you might open yourself to ask the question, is there something that you need to say that you're not sharing with me? And see where it goes.
Thank you for that insight. That is
Yes.
all the questions in both chats at the moment. Thank you.
All right, then we thank you very much for supporting us with asking them aloud for us. And are there any final questions today at this time?
I actually do have one more question, if I may.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, you may.
Thank you. I do sense quite a bit of change going on for me right now. And with the new moon happening today. Might you have any insights for me or guidance? In particular with my personal relationship with my partner.
The new moon may be causing a sense of a deeper need for self-reflection, introspection, and also protection. So it's important to honor your feelings. Remember, don't force yourself out of your own space when it doesn't feel right to do so. Practice honoring your own feelings more. Because if you want other people to honor your feelings, you have to honor what you're feeling yourself in the first place. And this might mean enjoying more time for yourself. And when you really find joy in that time for yourself, the parts of you that think you need other people to be happy will fall away. And when you don't need the other person to be happy, you'll start to question, then what do I need them for? And a different level of purpose to the relationship may unfold from there. Also note that Mercury retrograde is beginning today. And this is opening a period of some weeks that communication might not be as clear. So have a level of acceptance for this and understand that some things take a little bit longer to play out. Some things won't happen immediately. Some things happen slower and more patiently, and there might be some confusion at play. So don't rush this process and don't force anything to happen. Allow things to unfold exactly as they are meant to.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful. And my unconditional, those are beautiful insights and very clear. Thank you.
Or thank you very much. Thank you very much as well. Our love is also unconditional to you and to all of you. So we think that this is a wondrous place for us to end this transmission today. We thank you very much all for participating in co-creating this interaction. Thank you as you make it possible for us to meet you in your world, to share this energy and insight. And we extend our deep gratitude for you for making this a reality. The bridge between our realities grows and expands each time we connect. And many more of you start to open up to your own extraterrestrial and other interdimensional connections that can inspire you with love and joy and courage to be an active part of the change that is taking place in your world through all that you do and the love that you share. So we thank you very much and wish you a fantastic rest of your day then.
Thank you, Dante, so much.
Thank you, Ante. It was
Oh, you're
really good.
welcome. You're
Awesome.
welcome. Oh, I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, we like really good. So funny how my arms disappear when I lift them up. Yeah, cool. Thanks for being here today, everybody. Like,
you.
Thank you, Dante.
you're welcome. Yeah, welcome everybody. Thanks for being here. Seeing some new people in the group as well. The chat, thanks again for coming. And I'll share finally for the last moment. Share. Reminder that here is done lots of information and home and sign for the mailing list. That keep up about every time we. Oh, it's not really looking there. But oh, so I'm not sure guide level.
Yes, and also your voice is dropping out.
And that's on influence channel, how to how you can to live streams happen. You hear me?
Your audio is kind of
You
breaking.
can't hear
up.
me?
Your audio
Can
is
you hear
kind
me? Can you hear me?
of
Oh,
your audio is not great.
yeah. Is it better now? Okay, well, it's basically time for it to end anyway. So I'm glad. I'm glad that yeah, I'm glad that it made it through till the very end. That's pretty good for Mexico internet plus Mercury retrograde.
Thank you so much, Dante. Like,
You're
so
welcome. Thanks for being here. Yeah, I appreciate y'all being here as well, and hope to see you next week. And thanks for supporting these sessions, your donations, and with your love, and sharing it, and living it to change the world. Yay.
Thanks, Dante. See you next time.
You're welcome. See you.